we're about to get this party started. Hope everybody's doing well today. It is going to be an outstanding day here. If I can get the music turned on. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Are we good?
We are great.
Right, absolutely. Let's get this party started. Hold on here. All right, all right. So here we are again, August the 5th. We are going to learn how to flip property. Now, I got to tell you, this is something I never would ever do because I am what you call a buy and hold investor. I never sell the goose that laid the golden egg, but I have been told that there's big money in flipping houses. So I tried it. And I'm going to tell you what I found out. So today I want to teach you how to flip houses. All right. Now, this is not an all-inclusive. You're not going to learn everything you need to know in one little 30, 45-minute session. You're just not. I'm basically introducing you to the subject. Now, we're going to be talking about this subject over the next 4 weeks, but let's talk about the ground rules. Make sure you keep your phone muted. Ask questions in the comment section, chat section, and then as usual, always give Mr. Ray some feedback. So I got a little sermonette today I need to talk to you about. Can I talk to you one time about stewardship? Now, we got to talk about this thing, stewardship. What is stewardship? Stewardship means that basically you are a manager of someone else's property. You are a steward. The Bible says that the earth is the Lord and the fullness thereof. That means that it all belongs to him. He's the owner, you are not. Okay? And so in Corinthians, I read that it is required, come on, somebody, it is required that stewards be found faithful. And so you must understand that that's all you simply are. You're just a steward. You're not an owner. You're here to manage what God has given you. Well, what has God given you stewardship over? Well, he gives you stewardship over your time, over your mind, over your body, over your gifts, over your talents. All that is what your stewardship is. But I want to focus on 4 things today, and then we're going to get into our lesson today. First of all, you are a steward of your mind. Come on, somebody. In Romans 12, 1 and 2, the Bible says, do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed. Oh, come on, by the renewing of your mind. You need to be a good steward. You need to control what you think about, what your mind dwells on. You are what you think. It's as a man thinketh, so he is, right? So you are simply a product of all the thoughts that you have on a continual basis. If you want to have a different life, change your thought process. And that's one of the things that I'm here to try to help you do is change your mindset about money and about being a millionaire and about real estate. I'm here to transform your mind, but I can't stop with your mind because I'm here to affect the whole person. And so we got to talk about your body. Your body is not yours. It belongs to the Lord. In fact, it says over in Corinthians that you and your body are the temple of the Holy Spirit. So you have to treat it as such. What does that mean, Mr. Ray? That means you got to take care of your body. Oh, come on, somebody. You got to eat right. You got to sleep right. You got to get the proper rest. You got to make sure that you're putting into your body what you want out of it. It is the temple of God. And then, of course, you got to keep it pure sexually, baby. Oh, you can't just be giving it away to everybody. You got to keep that thing sacred for God. So it is his body, not yours, his temple. He's simply letting you dwell in it. Oh, y'all ain't hear what I'm saying, but I can't stop there. I got to talk about your time. You must be redeeming your time. When it says redeem, that means buy it back. That means be careful how you spend your time. Be careful who you allow to waste your time. Make your time important. Every day should be the best day of your life. Live your life in the now, not in the future, not in the past. Redeem the time now. You are the steward of your time. Don't let nobody tell you you're not in control. You are. You have to be a good steward of your time. And then finally, and that's what we're talking about today. Oh, we got to talk about your money, baby. We got to know that that's not your money. Oh, no, it's not. It's the Lord's money. He's just giving it to you so you can use it to help his people, to get his mission done, to take care of the things that you need to take care in your body. He said, diligence leads to profit. Oh, but if you're hasty, it's going to lead to poverty. So check out those scriptures now, baby. You have to be in tune with who you are and understand your stewardship. I didn't put gifts and talents and abilities on there, but that's one of the biggest ones you're a steward of too. You got to make sure you're using your talents for the Lord, for his glory, for his purposes. Your hands, your feet, everything that you do is about him. Oh, come on, somebody. Sermonette for today. Your mind, your body, your time, your money all belongs to the Lord, baby. You just a steward. Come on, somebody. Now we got to talk about the platinum module, number 2. So over the last 4 weeks in the month of July, we talked about the wholesale strategy, and that's where we talk about the quick money, okay? Now, the next 4 weeks, we're going to be talking about flipping. If you want to be a flipper, here's how you flip property. We're going to be talking about that over the next 4 weeks, and then we'll finish the whole session with my favorite, which is the forever money. So you got the quick money. We're going to talk about the big money for the next 4 weeks, and then we're going to talk about the forever money. The most precious process that you'll ever know is the birth strategy, baby, and I'm going to teach that to you. But we got to start with flipping. Got to talk about the flipping strategy today. And so over the next 4 weeks, this month, I'm going to teach you today how to flip property. Okay. And we've already talked about the ARV and the MAO, but I got to go over it again because it's all about the money, baby. It's all about making sure you got the right numbers, that the numbers say what they need to say so you can make the money you need to make, baby. Come on, somebody. And then next week, we're going to talk about identifying potential flipping properties. How do you know? Is this a buy and hold property? Is this a flip property? Is this a wholesale property? How do you know? We'll talk about that. And then we're going to determine how to estimate repair. This is a biggie. This is where you can get bit. This is where you can get hurt. This is where you can lose all your money if you don't get this right. Estimate them repairs, baby. How do you do that, Mr. Ray? I'm going to tell you. I'm glad you asked. And then finally, we're going to figure out how to get a buyer, close the deal, baby, because flipping is about making that big money. But there's a lot of risk, but there can be a lot of reward. So let's get into this thing, baby. Let's get into this thing. So I'm going to teach you 10 steps to becoming a flipper. Oh, come on. I'm in love with a flipper. Oh, that's the wrong song. I'm sorry. Here we go. First of all, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to need you to get an education. Come on, somebody. Be educated. Read books, listen to podcasts, just find out everything you can about how to flip houses. You got to get an education, baby. And then get with a mentor who is currently flipping houses, like Mr. Ray. Oh, Mr. Ray, you flip? Yeah, I'm flipping a couple of houses. And I'm going to show you the mistakes that I made and flip. I never flipped a house in my life until this year. And the only reason I'm flipping it because I'm trying to teach you. And so in teaching you, I taught myself. And I made mistakes and I learned things and I'm going to teach you what not to do. So get with a mentor. If it ain't me, find somebody else who's currently flipping some houses and say, hey, can I hang out with you? Or is there something I can help you with? Add value to them and I'm sure they'll be willing to help you in your flipping escapades. Research the properties that have been flipped in your area and see kind of what they buy them for and what they sell them for. Now, you may not know how much money they spent to fix them up, but you will know just by looking at Zillow, how much they paid for it, how long they kept it, and then what they sold it for. So these you can research these all day online. My people perish for a lack of knowledge. You don't know what you don't know. That's the issue with flipping. That's why I said read as much as you can. There's good authors out there. There's podcasts. There's a lot of people that's flipping out there. Now a lot of it ain't good stuff. So you got to be careful. But if you really want to flip, you got to start reading, baby. Reading is fundamental. If you're not a reader, then you're not growing. And if you're not growing, you're ripe and rotten. So just these are a couple of books that I think are pretty good around flipping houses. Read any of these, and I think that you'll be good from a standpoint of flipping houses. Flipping houses, baby, there's big money, big risk, but there's big rewards. Okay, so Mr. Ray, tell me about the math, because you always say don't fall in love with them houses, fall in love with them numbers. That's what I'm saying right here. I need you to fall in love with these flipping numbers. So let's look at what's important when you're flipping. Well, you got to understand how much you should pay for the property. Number one, you got to know what your maximum allowable offer is. And we've been talking about that when we were looking at wholesale properties. What's the maximum allowable offer? It's the same math, baby. It's not any different. It's the same math. And we'll show you that here in a minute. But you got to understand, how much should I be paying for the property? And then you got to understand how much you should put into repairs. You don't want to put too much money into a house that you're never going to get it back out of. So if you over repair, then you're limiting the amount of money that you're going to make in profit. So you got to make sure you get this piece of it right. You got to buy it right, you got to repair it right, and you got to sell it right, baby. It all got to work good together. This flipping stuff is not easy. It's not for the faint of heart. It's for those who want to make the big money, who's willing to take the risk, but also understand that there is a process and a way to get the numbers done. And then how much money you want to make, baby? This is where it gets good. If you do your math right, if you select the house right in the right area and all that, you can make a tremendous amount of money flipping properties. All right, so let's talk about how much money should I be spending for these properties, Mr. Ray? Well, that's what we're going to talk about. We first start with the after repair value, and we're going to look at the after repair value for the homework that you did on last week, and we'll see what the ARV was on that. So there's a formula for that, right? So how you get to the maximum allowable offer is you take the ARV, the after repair value, you subtract the cost of the repairs, any holding costs, any closing costs, and any profit that you want, and that will give you your maximum allowable offer. Let's just assume in this particular example that this house is going to, after we repair it, it's going to be worth $100,000. We're going to assume that there's $20,000 in repair, $2,000 holding costs, $3,000 in closing costs, and we want a 30% profit. That is kind of the standard, industry standard for anybody that's flipping property. You want to at least make 30% profit, or it's not worth your time. So when I do the math on this is what my maximum allowable offer looks like. Boom. So I start off with my $100,000. I subtract my repairs, my holding costs, my closing costs, and my 30% profit, which is $30,000. And I understand now that the maximum amount of money that I can offer on this property, if I want these profits, I got these costs, these repairs, this is the maximum I can offer on this $100,000 house. Any questions on the math? Pretty simple, huh? Guys got this down. All right, let's keep going. The number 3 thing that you got to do is do your market research. All right, it's all about location. Location, location, location. You hear that all the time. It's so very true. And so when you're looking at your location, is you want to know how much are houses selling for in that area. The ARV, what are the comparables? How long are they on the market? Things like that. So you need to know in the market that you're looking at, what a house is selling for in that area. And then you want to know how fast are these properties selling? And we, in the industry, we say, how many days has it been on the market? We call it days on market. Has it been on market 30 days, 60 days? Is it taking a year to move houses? The faster you sell the property, the faster you get your money back. That's the name of the game in this. You want to get that property under contract. You want to get it repaired as fast as possible at the least amount of profit, at the least amount of cost, so you can get the maximum profit in the quickest amount of time. Okay. So you want to know how fast, if properties are selling, 6 months in an area, that might not be an area. But if it's going to take you 3 to 6 months to get the property repaired, then that's okay. But just know that once you put it on the market, it's going to be another 3 to 6 months before you sell it, based on how fast properties are selling. And then what I would say, if I were a flipper, is I'm going to look for the areas where properties are selling the fastest, right? The hot market. We had a hot market here 2 or 3 months ago. Properties were flying off the market. It's kind of slowed down right now. But the average day on market was 1 day for a while. Properties, you look one day and the next day is gone. In fact, you get multiple offers on the same property in a day. And so it's kind of slowed down now, but you want to get in the fastest selling areas. And you need to determine, what are the properties that are selling fast? Are they 2-bed, 3-bed? Are they big homes, small homes? Are they homes for 100,000, 200,000? You got to figure out what's selling fast and get in that market. Okay. Any questions on knowing your market? Keep it moving, baby. Keep it moving. Number 4, you got to get your finances right. Okay. This game right here is going to require you to use either your cash, or you're going to have a private lender. Most banks won't do flips. Okay. So you either have cash or a line of credit or something that you can purchase the property with the funds that you have with your maximum allowable offer, and then have enough cash to fix it up. Then at the end, when you sell it, you get all the money back in your pocket. That's one way to do it. Banks are not going to finance flips for the most part. Now, if you get a bank that does conventional loan financing, they might. But the big banks, the Bank of America, the Chase banks, they don't do flips. But you can find some smaller banks that will do flips, okay? Then hard money lenders. Most of the time, hard money lenders will lend you 60% of the value of the home, which is okay because you're mostly buying your, the property at 40, 50%. And then they'll also finance up to 70% of the repair. So it's just a matter of finding somebody that'll do that for you. But in the hard money lending area, most of the time you got to put down 20%, which is okay. You can get in for 20%, get the property fixed up, get it flipped, turn your profit in 30, 60, 90 days. You can partner, get you some partners, get together, get some private money lenders together, but you're going to have to come up with some cash, right? These flip deals, you got to have some cash, baby. And then number 5, find a good real estate agent. Why, Mr. Ray, you always say you don't use real estate agents? I don't particularly like them because they want to charge me 3% all the time. So I ain't really interested in them. But if I'm a flipper, I got to have them because they are the ones that's going to sell that property for me. They're going to give me the maximum money that I can get. So you need to get you a good real estate agent, and finding a good real estate agent is hard sometimes. Why you say that, Mr. Ray? Because all of them are not equal. Are they good doctors? Yeah. Are they bad policemen? Yeah. In every profession, there's good and bad. So you got to weed them out and find you a good one, because they're going to help you determine what that property is worth. Now, I've taught you how to do the ARV, but a good agent is going to be able to tell you what's the right price that you can set to sell that property. And then they're going to give you access to a wider audience, because now you can put that property on the MLS where everybody can see it. Whereas if you try to sell it yourself, only a few people, for sale by owner, you can't do that. You can't really do that for sale by owner when you're doing a flip. You got to have real estate agent that has access to the MLS so you can get to a broad audience to let people see that this property is available. And most buyers, the people that you're going to be selling these houses to, they're going to be families, and they're going to have representation. So you need representation on your side. In this case, I like real estate agents to do my flip properties. Real estate agents, they're going to do all the marketing for you, right? They're going to put it on the MLS. They're going to put up their signs. They're going to have open houses. They're going to do all this stuff in order to help you sell that property so they can earn their commission, okay? Oh, let me back up. Any questions on that? Finding a good real estate agent. And I happen to know one. My wife, she's a good real estate agent. Why? Because I trained her and taught her everything she knows. She'll dispute that, but I did. Anyway, moving right along. Now, what do I do, Mr. Ray? Okay, I know how to do the MAO. I know how to do the ARV. I know what area I want to be in. I know how much money I got. I got my deals lined up. What do I need to do? All right, number 6, start looking at some potential deals. Get out there. Just start looking. Drive the neighborhood. Look for deals. Get on Zillow. If you got access to MLS, get on there. Start looking for deals because they're going to be out there. And these deals are got to be wholesale deals. Remember, you can't buy market value property and make money on the flip. It's just not going to happen. You need wholesale deals. Look for potential properties. Get out there, look for deals. Run the numbers on some of them. See what they look like. Contact the prospective buyers. Make an offer on it. Or else you got to buy a property from a wholesaler, right? You can't buy retail and do flipping. You have to buy at wholesale 40, 50, 60% of the ARV. And then check out some flips that's on the market. When Lila and I moved into our home here, the house next to us was flipped. We saw it on the market whenever we were looking for our house. And then we saw where the guy fixed it up, took a couple, 3 months, and then we saw where he flipped it. So you can see where people are flipping houses because they only keep them for 2 or 3 or 4 months. All right, so check out some of the flips on the market, see how much they purchased it for, and then see how much they sold it for. And here's another key. Another key, you got to have a good contractor to do the work, right? That's going to do these repairs because the contractor can make or break the deal. A bad contractor makes your flip a horrible flip, okay? So there's 3 areas that you need to be worried about when we're talking about contract. Number 1 is quality. What is the type of work that they perform? So some contractors perform excellent work, but you're going to have to pay for it, right? Nothing comes cheap. Price. Now, you're going to find some that's going to do decent work, and it's going to be at an excellent price. Good price, but it's not a premium price. And then you got to make sure that the contractor understands that you got to get this property on the market as soon as possible. So these things can make or break your deal. The quality of the work and the price that you pay and the timeliness at which it is completed. Speaking of contractors, let's stay on there. There's 3 types of contractors. There's low-end contractors, and I wouldn't recommend these individuals to do your flip. You want high-end contractors. Low-end contractors, typically they're not licensed, they're not bonded, they're not insured, and you got very little recourse if something goes wrong, right? These are people that you don't want to use for your flip. You can use them for maintenance work, but you don't use them for flip. And there are what I call average contractors. These are licensed, they're bonded, they're assured, and they're usually used to working with real estate investors. And for the most part, they have reasonable rates. And I use them a lot of times on my rehabs, okay? If I'm gonna do a flip, I'll probably looking for the average contractor. And then there's the high end, the big dogs. These are contractors, they do the high end stuff. For example, they'll charge $2,000 just to paint the daggone bedroom. And they got clients that'll pay it because they do everything to the premium. You know, fireplaces, countertops, ceramic tile, backsplash. I mean, they're doing high quality work, but guess what? You're going to pay for it. So you got to determine, again, what your repairs are going to be Working with these contractors can be tricky. I mean, you just got to know what you're doing in this whole flipping business. It's a hard business, but it's a very profitable business. Very, very profitable. And then I always say, especially if you're a newbie, you're getting into this, always have the home inspected because you don't know what you don't know, right? Unless you got experience and you know what to look for, so you can properly estimate what the repairs are on these properties. I say you make sure you get this proper. Now, I don't have my homes inspected because I'm pretty much a home inspector. I've seen a little bit of everything. Rarely does anything get by me. Every now and then I'll miss something, but for the most part, I probably could have done home inspection. All right, not bragging, just saying. So hire a qualified professional. It's gonna cost you $300 to $400. It'll be money well spent, I promise you. And then after the inspection, let's say you had a contract on a property, and the contract say it's dependent upon the buyer inspecting the property and approving the actual repairs that need to be done. We call it the TRR, and they go back and forth, and you figure out during this 10-day period, during the contract period, whether you really want to go forward. And that's why you got to have this licensed professional there. They'll take pictures, they'll go through the house top to bottom, and they'll show you everything they find wrong with that property. So at least you know going in what you're going to be up against. So you got three options. You can accept the condition and go ahead and move on with the sale and start your rehab. You can reject the condition and walk away. You can say, "Oh no, got foundation issues, got some mold, got the roof is falling down." Now you can just walk away from the deal, and you can walk away free and clear because on the contract it says it's based upon you approving and being able to understand what all the repairs are. And if you don't like anything, you can have them ask them to repair, or you can walk away. Or then you can go in and renegotiate the deal, right? Okay, we found this. We still like the house, but we'd like for you to give us $2,000 so we can get this carpet repaired, okay? So those are some of the things that you can typically do during that period, but you got to have had that inspection. Very, very important to get the home inspected. And then number 9 is what I call due diligence. You got to do your due diligence, baby. What does that mean? You got to make sure when you're fixing this property up that all the utilities continue to be paid and there's no outstanding debts, right? You're paying your contractors on time. You're making sure everything is done in orderly fashion. Sign all your various disclosure documents that you get from the title company, the escrow company. All the paperwork has to be in order. And then if I'm buying a property, I'm gonna insure it, right? Because number one, if I've got a private investor with me or I got hard money, they're gonna require that I have insurance, right? For the most part, you don't need flood insurance, but on every property you have insurance because that property can burn down, it can flood, anything can happen, and all your money will be gone. But if you got that insurance during the phase that you're repairing it, you got a chance to get some of your money back. And then also, when I'm dealing with contractors, I like to get several bids for repairs. I never go with one bid. I like several bids, and I can compare those bids and see which one works best, because a lot of times contractors will be all over the place. And we're going to spend some time during this next month, and I'm going to show you how to correctly estimate what the repairs are going to be so that you don't get taken by some of these contractors. And then get your contractor schedule, get started, baby. Get started on your work. Number 10, the last thing you need to know is how to manage the rehab, right? You need to create a detailed scope of work. What's going to be done in every area of the house, the roof, the exterior, every bedroom, bathroom, kitchen, everything. A detailed scope of work on what's going to be replaced, what's going to be repaired, the whole 9 yards. Scope of work, and I'll show you some examples, not today, but over the next month, you'll see a scope of work that I used on my project. You got to manage these financials, baby, because You got down payment money, you got money for repair, you got contracts, you got utilities, you got closing costs. You got to manage all your financials and keep track of how much money you're spending. Because if you're not keeping track of how much money you're spending, how do you know if you're making money at the end of the day? You won't know unless you keep track and have detailed reports. And then make your, after you get the property done, make your final punch list. After the contractor comes in, he's ready to hand the property over to you. Walk through the property, make sure everything is correct before you make that final payment, okay? Don't make the final payment until you're satisfied with the work. All right, that's all I got right there. Let's ask any questions before we get into the work.
Mr. Ray, I do have a question.
Yeah.
As far as hard money lenders are trying to get some financing, if I wanted to do, like if I found some vacant land and I wanted to do a new construction, do hard money lenders get involved with those kind of transactions?
Some of them do, but most of them like to have an existing structure on the land, but there are some that'll do it from the ground up.
Okay.
Any other questions? Come on now, I know y'all got some questions. Any flippers out there? Anybody thinking about flipping? We may not have.
I am.
Who?
Dorita.
Oh.
I want to do some flips.
All right, so you got some money?
That's the problem. I need some money.
That's always the problem, I promise.
It's always the problem.
So that's why I try to get y'all to do wholesale, right? So you can make that quick money. But wholesaling is hard too. There's no easy solutions out there. You either got to have money or you got to make money to get in this game. But once you get in it, baby, it ain't nothing but good stuff happening. All right, got time for more questions before we get to the homework.
Hey, Ray.
Yeah.
One thing you might mention, the flip that I did it with a partner, and come to find out, we didn't both actually have the same vision for that property. And I was wanting more detail. I was wanting more high-end finishes. He said, it's only a flip. We just need to do it like this. And it wound up taking way longer to fix everything the way we wanted it because things that he did didn't turn out right. We had to redo things. And then it was up to try to sell it and people didn't like the way it looked. So we had to go back and fix other things. Took longer time on the market. So we wound up, when all the dust settled, we both lost about $4,000 a piece. We should have made about 25 grand a piece.
Yeah.
So that's my 2 cents.
Well, I'm going to take you through the one that I still have on the market now and show you all the mistakes and money that I lost on that deal. Now I'm still going to hopefully end up making money on it, but I made so many mistakes that cost me money. And I'm going to take you through some of the stuff that cost me some money. And David, you're right. You know, if you're going to get in partnership with somebody, you better make sure you're on the same wavelength, right? You got to say, hey, am I a silent partner or am I going to be making decisions? You know, so you got to make sure. But then you always got to expect the unexpected. And so I say, whenever you do your expenses, just add 10 to 15% on that, just to give yourself some room to be able to make some profit on the deal. Because I promise you, things are not going to go as planned. It just happens in projects. Any other questions? Any other flippers on the line thinking about flipping? No flippers in the house? All right. All right, so I guess y'all ready to go to the homework. Let's go to the homework. The homework was at 305 22nd Avenue Northeast in Norman, Oklahoma. That's a house that I just recently sold. And in fact, I just sold it today. We closed on it today, sold the property for $130,000. You say, well, Mr. Ray, why would you sell it for $130,000? It needed about $30,000 worth of work. Trust me, it needed it. And I was just ready to get out of Norman. I like to be able to put my hands on my homes. So I like everything in the Oklahoma City area. That home actually belonged to my daughter. I had bought it for her. She moved to Texas, so I bought the property back from her, I believe in 2018. So I was renting it out. But the problem was it's in Norman. You got to run maintenance people down there. It just turned into a headache. Anyway, I sold it and taking the money, and I'm going to be purchasing another property. So let's get to the homework. So it was 305 22nd Avenue Northeast. So I came up with 180,000 as my ARV, and the maximum allowable offer would be $100,000. And so if you're in the green, you're within 10 to 20 of my number. 10 to 20,000 of my number is a good place to be. If you're a little bit outside of that, I gave you a yellow. If you wasn't even close, I didn't put you on. So let's talk about it. Anybody got any questions? Let me look at, you guys might want to look at my data. Let me see what I used. Where is my file? Any questions on that? 305, okay. There's mine. So here's the comps that I use. Do we need to go out there and look? Anybody got any questions? So I use Morin, which was 173. Barron was 173, Morin 165. These are the four that I use. The average was like 126. So if you was anywhere close to that 180, you were good. Maximum allowable offer, $100,000. Any questions? This is a key piece right here. Make sure you understand this. Any questions for Mr. Ray? Do we need to go and look at the site, the Redfin site, and look at the properties? If not, then we'll keep moving. All right, so good job, really. Everybody really did. We got a couple of outliers down here, but everybody really did a really good job on this one. I think it'll come in anywhere between 180, 190. It might be as low as Tina was like one. It could be down, just depending on who the appraiser is that comes out there to appraise the property. But this is a key piece of being able to make sure that the property that you're buying, that you're going to be able to make the profit that you want to make if you're going to be doing flipping property. Questions, comments?